Like most siblings, Zuko and Azula are more similar than they realize. In fact, I would venture to say that they are exact mirrors of each other. And this is in the way that a mirror shows the same image, but in reverse. So today we're going to dive into their story arcs to explain why they have extremely similar journeys, except one is positive and one is negative. And if you're watching this video, you probably already know what I'm going to say. First, let's look at Zuko's story arc. And this is one of the most dissected story arcs in storytelling, as it's one of the best developed story arcs in storytelling. The redemption story that we see Zuko undergo throughout the course of the show is masterfully written. Zuko goes from a place of uncontrolled chaos at the beginning of the show, willing to do whatever it takes and give up whatever it needs to capture the Avatar and return to his home and, in the end, regain his honor. And it's in fact that desire to regain his honor that causes him to be redeemed. He comes to realize the side that he believes was the good guys was not the honorable side. In fact, the side that he believed was the good guys, in fact, is not acting with honor. Even Zuko comes to realize that he has not been acting with honor. Throughout the first few seasons of the show, we just see that Zuko uses blunt force to get what he wants. He will fight people to convince them of what he wants. And a prime example of that is whenever he fights Zhao in Agni Kai. This is exclusively for Zuko to get what he wants, and this is how Zuko manipulates people. He uses power and control to get what he wants. Azula, on the other hand, follows a vastly similar arc that works in reverse. She goes from a controlled character to a completely wild character that is basically insane by the end of the story. And why is that? Azula uses fear to control people. She uses fear to control her soldiers. She even uses fear to control her friends. And this is where we come to the peak, the turning point of both characters' arcs. And this is a betrayal. For Zuko, when he betrays Uncle Iroh, that is the turning point for him. That is when he begins to realize that the Fire Nation is not all that he had built it up to be in his mind. That regaining his honor is not exactly all he thought it was cracked up to be. It is in this moment that he begins to see that for him to truly regain his honor, he does not need to capture the Avatar, he needs to join it. And Uncle Iroh's advice throughout the entire show so far that nurtured Zuko's kindness and selflessness throughout the story, despite he's still a selfish character, but Iroh saw those traits in him and nurtured them. And when they finally came into bloom in season 3, it saved the world, you could say. For Azula, the betrayal that turned her story arc was whenever Mai and Ty Lee betray her in the Boiling Rock. And this is because Azula uses fear to control people, right? She uses fear to control her friends, and she believes that fear is the only way. She says as much in the season finale. But whenever that fear does not prove to be enough, whenever Mai says,
"Guess you just don't know people as well as you think you do. You miscalculated. I love Zuko more than I fear you," that
wrecks Azula's entire worldview. It shatters the foundations that she built her motivations and her beliefs upon. In that moment, whether she realizes it or not, she doesn't know how to do anything anymore. What she believed to be true is proven to be false by Mai and Ty Lee. And so in this moment, Azula doesn't know what to do, and this is why in the season finale she's banishing everyone, because she can't even trust that the fear of her is going to be enough for her to stay alive. And this is why I say that these two are mirror images of each other. After the point of this betrayal, their story arcs really come to a head, and for Zuko, it's this struggle within himself on whether he should be part of the Fire Nation, on whether this is something that he believes is right and true, and most importantly, honorable. And for Azula, this is the moment where she begins her downward spiral into insanity. Believe me, whenever your foundational beliefs and principles are challenged and proved incorrect, if you have nothing to replace them with, as Azula doesn't, it's gonna drive you insane. So while Zuko and Azula may seem like exact opposites who have nothing in common, their stories are really very similar in that their core beliefs are either strengthened or destroyed. And for Zuko, Iroh strengthens his beliefs and Aang reinforces them, whether he does it on purpose or not. On the other hand, Azula, her beliefs, her core principles are proven false, and she has nothing to replace them with. That's why Zuko and Azula are opposites, and yet they remain the same, as many siblings often are. I've been Judah Eyler. Thank you so much for watching this episode of True View Radio. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you like the video, and I'll see you next time. Farewell, friends.